Irving Gould was a Canadian businessman who was widely blamed for the death of Commodore computers, but he was also the saviour of Commodore computers. How? In this short video, we'll look at Irving's involvement in Commodore computers and how he both saved and sunk our beloved brand. Because there are very few photographs of Irving Gould available on the internet or anywhere else, as he was a very private man, we'll just use his mansion that he built in 1995, just 1 year after the liquidation of Commodore Computers, the global company, as a backdrop. Irving Gould got involved in Commodore right back in 1965. Jack Tramiel's company, Commodore, needed bailing out of a financial pickle that he was involved in when Commodore's main Canadian finance company went under. The company that Jack used to finance his typewriter company collapsed, and all loans were called in, including Commodore's, and Jack didn't have the available funds to keep the company alive. Irving Gould injected $500,000 into Jack's company in exchange for 18% of the company's stock, and with the stipulation that he'd become the chairman of the board, making him number one and Jack number two. Multiple times over the next 10 years, Irving Gould bailed Commodore out. At this stage, Commodore was making typewriters, eventually adding machines, furniture, and then calculators. So if it wasn't for Irving Gould, Commodore may have never got to the point of making the Commodore computers that we love today. As president, Jack Tramiel took Commodore to the next level by buying MOS Technology, a chip-making company which Irving Gould chipped in $3 million of his own money towards the purchase. By 1984, Commodore Computers was now a billion-dollar business on the back of success of the PET, the VIC-20, and mainly the Commodore 64. They control about 60% of the home computer market globally. But unfortunately, this is when things started to become pear-shaped. After a long stewing conflict between Jack and Irving, Jack Tramiel resigned from Commodore Computers, leaving Irving Gould in full control of this billion-dollar company. Unfortunately, Irving Gould didn't own a computer or know how to operate one, so he needed to appoint CEOs to run the technology business. This would end up being a revolving door of CEOs over the next coming years, and Commodore Computers began losing money. To fix the problem, Commodore hired a new CEO, Thomas A. Rattigan, who got the company profitable again. But like many of the CEOs beforehand, Irving Gould wasn't happy with him, and Rattigan was forcibly removed from Commodore Computers headquarters. Irving Gould then took over the role of CEO at the age of 67, a role he kept until 1989, when he hired Mehdi Ali, and really the rest is history after that hiring, spiraling into debt and voluntary liquidation of a global company in 1994. But let's turn the clock back a bit. In 1990, Commodore only made $1.5 million profit globally, and Irving Gould increased his salary to $1.75 million, more than the company made worldwide. To avoid having to pay tax, he used his Hawker Siddeley jet, the PET jet, to fly between his homes in Canada, the USA, and the Bahamas, as he could only spend 3 days a week in the US before he became subject to taxation laws by the IRS. To avoid paying tax, Irving Gould was always on the go. By the time 1993 came about, Commodore's net worth turned into the negative, with stock selling on the New York Stock Exchange for only 87.5 cents per share, and Commodore's market share had now dropped globally to just 5%. Finally, in 1994, Commodore, previously one of the world's largest computer companies, went into voluntary liquidation under the control of Irving Gould and Mehdi Ali. 1 year later, Irving Gould built this mansion in the Bahamas, which doesn't sound right at first. Our beloved brand was now dust, and the chairman lives in luxury. So Irving Gould passed away in 2004, and his former Bahamas home, owned by someone else of course at this stage, is now on the market. This palatial residence has 1 foot thick external walls. The roof is strengthened with standing seam heavy gauge copper, with copper gutters and downpipe. It has 12 bedrooms, 12 full baths, 5 partial baths, and it stretches over 12,005 square feet. How much would you expect to pay in 2021 for this location and luxurious family home is on the market for $29,500,000. Remembering that Irving Gould built this 1 year after the collapse of Commodore, we may be feeling that this is not right. But before Irving Gould got involved with Commodore computers, he was a very wealthy man. Michael Tomczyk estimated his wealth to be $150 to $250 million, and he used that wealth to help bail out Commodore in the pre-computer years multiple times. If he hadn't, Commodore would have collapsed long before they made computers, and we never would have had our beloved models like the PET, the VIC-20, Commodore 64, and the AMIGA. Unfortunately, while credited as being the saviour of Commodore computers, his control and managing style is also credited for sinking a billion-dollar company, but not before we got to enjoy some amazing computer models, machines that we hold dear even today. So Irving Gould, a controversial man who both saved and sunk Commodore computers.